was it energized people to get rid of cars that in many cases weren't clunkers, that in many cases could have been used by the farmer, that are now gone because you were required to destroy that car when you were done. So that car came off the market once it was destroyed. So the farmer couldn't get it for a less price. The person going to college couldn't get it for a less price. What else happened? Supply and demand.
So the farmers should take the old cars and not worry about new cars? I don't know what you're saying about farmers.
Well, a lot of times the farmers would take old, what we would call clunkers, and use those in the farms. And that's what I'm saying. I had many farmers come to me and say, all the clunker cars are gone that we used to use on the farm. And that's the problem. So in the long run, you know, when somebody says, well, didn't you take money in that program? Yeah, because I wanted to provide for my customers. Did I make dollars off of that? No. And in the long run, was I able to sell more cars because of it? No, because the market, all we did was pull forward, sold cars, and then the market plummeted again for a couple months after that.
I have a follow-up on government money. I understand you did own nursing homes.
Yes.
Maybe you still do, I don't know. A lot of people in nursing homes get government subsidies from Medicare or Medicaid, or do you not accept that government money in your nursing homes?
Yeah, and guess what? Nursing homes is another good question. Nursing homes are a legitimate business. Guess where most of the profit is made in a nursing home?
But then I heard you say you wouldn't want to take government money in a business. You wouldn't want bailouts.
Well, no, you didn't hear me right. Let me explain what I said. Even in the nursing home, I have a resident I have to take care of. By the way, they come in to my facility and they want to come in. They want to be there. They're Medicaid. They're a Medicaid resident. I'm a Medicaid facility. By law, I have to take them. I don't know if you're aware of that. All right, so now I have to take a Medicaid resident. That's okay. You take those Medicaid residents to serve the resident. So those are where the dollars come from. I would have been very happy to have 100% private pay. But the truth of it is you got to service the customer. In the nursing home business, you have customers. Some of them are Medicaid, some of them are Medicare. When they come to your facility and want to be there, you have to service them with the payer mix they have. And that's the reason.
Is there any other questions? If not, Jim will be around in the evening to kind of talk with you. We'll take a couple
Where is the
more.
profit margin in nursing homes? My mother's in an assisted care facility. She's paying $2,700 a month to live with. And her money's not going to last that long. So where is, when you just said, you know, I'd be glad to tell you where the profit margin is in nursing homes. Where is it?
Well, I was saying it's not a Medicaid patient.
Is it private pay like on other?
It's not a private pay. Well, it's right now it's in private pay. Of course, you know, Medicaid is your least amount of revenue coming into the nursing homes normally. We're going to end up, and now we got 3 questions. So let's go. My friend in the green shirt.
The Republicans from 2000 to 2008 created enormous deficits, and now we have Republicans being born again deficit winners. You were not in Congress from 2000 to 2008, and you were not the president, and you were not the Senate. You have said that you want to cut the deficit and that you want to cut back on spending. The largest areas for spending are the defense budget, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, and regretfully our enormous debt. How would you cut spending in the federal government?
Sure. Congressman Pence has put out a plan to put a statutory limit of 20% of GDP. Where does the 20% come from? That comes from past years. Over the average life of this country, we have spent about 20%. We are now at 26, 27, heading to 40% of GDP. There's a problem. We need to get back, and I would support a statutory level of 20% of GDP. Then I would start looking at some of the programs. There are a tremendous amount of waste in our federal government, tremendous amounts. I can tell you there are programs today where we do one thing and then we turn around and we do just the opposite on the same thing. Those things need to be eliminated. We got fraud and abuse that needs to be eliminated in all areas, right? And the list goes on. There are a tremendous amount in a business. Where's a business? That one thing I will tell you, run over 60 businesses over the last 27 years. Either owned, operated, or invested in 60 businesses. Would I continue to let a business bleed? Or do you start looking at ways to bring your costs down and still provide the same service? The answer is the latter. And that's what I think we need to do. You eliminate fraud, you eliminate waste, you eliminate a lot of issues, and there's a whole slew of those.
But 80% of our deficit comes from those 5 areas: defense, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and our existing debt. How would you cut that? Because in order to handle a deficit, it's impossible to eliminate our deficit with the other 20% of all the other programs that we have. Those 5 programs are 80% of our budget. So what would you do to those 5 programs to cut spending?
Well, you just answered the question. If we don't cut spending, that interest number, which is one of the 5 you just talked about, is going to continue to grow, and it's going to swallow up the complete amount of budget. So we have to start there. We have to get spending down. The other areas, I told you, in the military, I still am a strong believer in the military, but is there waste in the military? I'm sure there is. I can tell you my business background will show you that I did get involved in some military issues where I saw waste. There's waste in everything. We need to look at those. We need to look at areas. There's a tremendous amount of areas out there, which I told you, there are programs. Look, we just talked about the best example. We are now, these congressmen, Congressman Bocheri is sending dollars out into the district. In many cases, unneeded dollars. I mean, these are the earmarks that we talk about. That's another level. We shouldn't have earmarks. You know, what are earmarks? They're dollars that are being spent that we don't have to do things in many cases we don't need to do. Now, if we do need to, if you ask me, do you believe in earmarks? I've said all along, I think all earmarks should be eliminated except earmarks that are for defense and produce jobs. And we do have some of those that are good in this district. But we have a tremendous amount of earmarks out there right now that, quite frankly, we don't need. And watch the paper. You'll see John Bocheri continue to kick money out into the district in earmarks. And then take a look and see whether you believe it's needed, because there are businesses out there that really not only don't need it, but I'm talking about if you don't have the money, you would never spend the dollars you're spending. So I gave you 2. If you want to sit down later, I'll give you 10 or 15 or 20 examples of areas we can cut. I know we're going to wind down here, but
Quick.
Yeah, why don't,
Quick
last
question here, though, to follow up. You mentioned Mike Pence's program. One of the provisions of that, along that same question, is that John Boehner suggested on Sunday that he would support raising Social Security retirement age to 70. Now, that would be one way of helping to control Social Security costs. Would you support that? Republican Party, Mike Pence, and John Boehner.
Well, here's what I say about Social Security. Social Security.
That's in Mike's report.
But here's what I say about Social Security. Social Security is a safety net. We need to take care of safety net. We need to take care of people who need the safety net. The problem is, with all the spending that's occurred over the last 2 years, we are now at a tipping point where we have problems with Social Security. And we are now have 2 or 3 people contributing to the needs of 4 or 5 people. So we do need to take a look at Social Security. We need to look at ways of stabilizing Social Security as a safety net for the people that need it.
So does that mean raising retirement age?
Well, what I said was, I think there's a lot of ways. I mean, I'll give you a great example. I'm not too sure my dad needs Social Security. He's 85 years old. He'd swear that he paid into it and should have gotten it. He's been getting it since 65. But there's a great example. So I think there's all kind of ways of looking at it. But what I'm really saying is stabilizing the system.
Is there anything on your schedule to publicly debate Bocheri? Has he agreed to that? Are you going to, debate him?
Well, I look forward to the opportunity to publicly debate John Bocheri. We were in one meeting where it was discussed. I think it was the Wooster Chamber, and he has not confirmed. We're ready. We'll be there.
Okay, so will it be announced on your website or in the paper?
I believe there is an announcement coming. It hasn't been confirmed, but we're trying to get together with Mr. Bocheri to do a public debate. It has been confirmed. We've called his office, tried to get with him. But Jim, thanks so much for tonight. We definitely appreciate it. If you saw me, I had to step out for a few minutes. President Obama called me And he made one thing clear, and he did in his campaign the whole time. And he relied on one thing only, and that was change. And I want to tell you, we need change.
Yes.
And I want you to really think about this statement that I'm going to make. If you think our 16th district as a business, and you sent John Bocherry up there to run your business, number one, you did a wrong thing. And I'll tell you why. Would you ever, as a small business owner, send somebody to run your business that's never ever been in business himself? Jim has ran a business for 16, 17, 20. I've heard his story 1,000 times. He signed the front of more paychecks than he has the back of paychecks. We need change, just like Mr. Obama said. If we can take this change all the way to Washington and elect Jim Renacci as our next 16th district congressman, we'll be doing a great thing. He believes in veterans, he believes in farmers, he believes in small business people, he believes in our district. And I hope that you will stand with me and get Jim Renacci our next 16th district congressman. We'll be around for a few minutes if you have any questions for him. Thank you.